do like the king. I think he's my favorite character so far.
He really is. He's the best. The actor especially.
If you took a room full of really hardcore Song of Ice and Fire fans and sat them down and told them we're coming out with this show in the next year, who's your favorite character going to be? Who do you expect to see the most from? King Viserys would have been at the bottom of that list. Like, so many people in Fire and Blood do so many more things than him. He was, I don't want to say a blank slate, but he was a very undeveloped character because George didn't need him to do all that much other than have these kids do a few things and die.
Wait, he dies?
Everybody dies, dude. I was about to say there's not a single person alive in this show that's alive at Game of Thrones, but that might not actually be true. But the fact that PADDY CONSIDINE's been like tearing it up so much and adding all that nuance and
I love that he's a good king. He wants everyone to get along, but then you push it just a little too much, and he turns, and it's so well done.
In his efforts to be a good man and a good father, he's failing being a good king. He's not being decisive enough. He's not laying down the law when it needs to be laid down. So I think his failing is that he ultimately is what Damon said he was. It's kind of a weak king. He's a good man. He's trying to be a good father.
The scenes I like with him most is when he reminds them he actually is the king and don't push it. He reminds them that he's a nice guy, but he doesn't have to be a nice guy.
I would say if you have to remind people you're the king, then you're not.
That's true. It's even better that he is fallible, because then that makes him a more interesting character.
Yeah, I think he's pulled it off well. I found out later that the only thing that I have seen him in is Shaun of the Dead. He was one of the town cops that, you know, our heroes had to deal with and that kind of thing. So I don't really have a lot of experience with him as an actor, even though he looked kind of familiar to me. But I you know, as I said, I think he's been completely tearing it up in a role that very well could have been, it could have gone either way, because the showrunners and the writers had to make up damn near everything he's doing besides like the main high points, because in Fire and Blood, there's just not that much of him. He doesn't really do that much.
I think he is the best actor on the show. He brings the emotion. He brings the
pathos.
There you go. Thank you. There's a word I could use.
I really like him. I feel he brings a lot to the table. Like you understand where he's coming from. He seems like a really nice guy in a very shitty world.
And I think if we saw him with his character that he's playing as a baker, as a farmer who's a father of a bunch of children, you know, you'd think, oh, he's a good man. But here he is in this role as a king, and it seems like that kind of role needs a certain type of personality, especially one with this underlying eventually must stop the White Walkers kind of mandate that we're just learning about. I think when I title this snippet, this video, it's going to be something about, you know, good father, bad king, something like that, or good man, bad king.
That sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he pulls it off really well. Plus, and this is just a tip of the cap to how they're not exposition whores, and they don't try to like fill you in on everything, and they, you know, don't like hang a lantern on everything like so many shows are compelled to do. Lord of the Rings. His last episode, if you weren't paying attention somewhat closely, you might have missed. Homeboy's missing 2 fingers. You know, they were a little bit rotted. And
you took my thunder. I was going to say that I didn't notice myself.
Yeah, until you hear about it later on the internet.
Someone pointed out that like his hairline is receding. He's now missing 2 fingers. So I think you guys are right. I think he has diabetes.
Yeah, he's obviously more tired, more slouched, more world weary, more beaten down, gained weight.
He's barely able to like walk when he got off his horse to go kill the stag.
I noticed none of that, I'd like to say. No. I was too busy looking at all the titties.
Which aren't on screen anymore.
I was hunting for them, hopefully, but
he was looking at videos from Game of Thrones where they had titties.
The good old days.
That's what I do. I have a split screen, and I have Game of Thrones and nude scenes on one side, and I have House of the Dragon on the other side, just so I can get the same